Good evening and welcome to our next episode of Cooking with Michael. Construction, pretty much done. All we have to do is the floor. It just came in today. But other than that, it's all done. We've got, the big open space. We've got new lighting. And we've also got my new favorite toy here. It's actually a butcher block cart, which helps us show everything and what we're doing a little bit easier than what we were doing before. So we are really excited about this episode. Not only because we're back after a couple of weeks of construction and vacation, and for those of you who watched the little snippets over the last couple of weeks, thank you so much for sticking with us. We really appreciate it. But because we have ourselves a real good dinner tonight. That's right. Date night dinner is back. It's a loved one, spouse, significant other date night dinner, or just your first date, whatever. Easy dish, and we're going to go ahead and make it. But before we do that, of course, we've got our Pinot Grigio. Because, cooking with Michael can't be anything without Pinot Grigio. And, of course, we're also going to use that in the cooking, too. So it's not only for drinking, it's for cooking. It's for drinking. And cooking. And drinking. All right, so what are we making tonight? You can see the ingredients out here. We are going to make a beef stroganoff. When I was little and I first heard about this, I thought it was beef stroganoff. I'm looking to see what my wife put down on below here. No? Okay. Okay, there it is. Yeah, that's funny. Okay. But anyway, beef stroganoff. Quick, easy dish. It sounds a lot to it, and there is several different ingredients, but it takes about 10 minutes to cook, about 10 minutes to prepare, something like that. The noodles really take the most to do it. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to jump right into it, and I'm going to drink some more Pinot Grigio. I've done some of the preparing ahead of time, and I'm going to do some here, and then we'll put it all together, we'll cook it, and see what you think. So anyway, start off with, first thing we're going to do is you want about 2 pounds of beef. You don't want ground beef, you want steak. Typically, beef stroganoff, and there is actually a little bit of a history to it. It was the beef stroganoff beef was actually a Russian dish, but it was they would use the meat that was kind of left over, and they would put a lot of different things into it to try and mask the taste of the meat a little bit because it may not have been the freshest meat. So anyway, that's kind of where it came from. So beef stroganoff is something totally different, and we're not have to no. Anyway, so what we're gonna do first, I already started this. What I did, I didn't get a chuck roast, or I actually went ahead and I got a little bit of a better meat. I got a ribeye, and I cut it basically into cubes. Okay, so you have about 2 pounds of cubed meat. Okay. Anyway, you want to let it sit for about 15-20 minutes out to get it to room temperature. It makes it a little bit easier when you cook, and also does change the flavor just a little bit. But we're going to put some salt and pepper into it. Okay, a little bit of coarse, kind of, just kind of blooper. Anyway, so just going to put that in there, let that sit for a few minutes. Okay, while we're doing that, we're going to cut up green onions. You want to use green onions, shallots, what have you. You're only going to use the white parts. The rest of this, unfortunately, is going to get tossed because we're going to cook that in a pan with the broth and whatever and the juices from the steak. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take my handy-dandy knife, and I'm just going to basically cut off the white parts and move the green parts out of the way. I got 2 bunches. There's about 10 of them in there, okay? And then what you want to do is you just want to basically chop them up finely. I know just while I'm doing this real quick, a couple of you reached out to me and were a little upset because I didn't have, I was delayed getting the episode up last week. Amy, thank you for commenting on our Facebook post, and I'm sorry that you had to have all of your frozen food in the freezer go to waste. No. Thanks for watching, Amy, I appreciate it. Melissa made fun of me, our producer in California. She made fun of me significantly because she said she was sitting there waiting patiently at 8 o'clock last Saturday night, and we weren't up yet because we had some technical difficulties. Why? Because, I had no Wi-Fi last week in the condo that we rented, and, among other things, and we tried to upload it from the car using data, and that just wasn't happening. So anyway, so we're just going to take them. We're going to basically just chop them up. I have a nice little chopper here too. Okay. Chop up into smaller pieces, and then we're going to take them and we're going to put them into a bowl. I'm going to try and chop them up as finely as you can. Want to thank again Andrew, Chapel Beer and Wine, for providing the Pinot Grigio. As always, he's there for us. And again, I did take some more, but I did take it with me on South Carolina, which was really nice. So I'm sure they had Pinot Grigio down there, but it's not the same. It'll look like this. Just finely chopped green onions, okay? Our beef cubes, salt and peppered, room temperature, okay? You want to make sure they're room temperature, okay? Now, the other things we're going to use mushrooms. You want to get basically 1 6-ounce jar of diced mushrooms, okay? Drain them. So I have that already done, drained. You want to get some beef broth, some flour, some mustard, and again, salt and pepper, and as much Pinot Grigio as you can drink. You also want to get a bag of noodles. Egg noodles is what it typically calls for. That's what we're going to use. Interestingly, the egg noodles we got at the butcher store. He actually had, so thank you to our butcher, of course, for our ribeye. But the noodles are actually, they're made with egg. They're egg noodles, but they are actually twisty noodles. So a little bit different, but it's all they had. So, but egg noodles, the flat egg noodles, that's typically what it calls for. But again, you can use any kind of pasta you want, whatever you have, whatever you like, that kind of thing. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to begin the process of cooking the beef stroganoff. Mostly it's going to be all done in one pan. The noodles will be done separately. We'll kind of not show you that because it's pretty much cooking noodles. We'll show you what it looks like as we do it, and it's step by step. It goes pretty quickly from here. First thing you want to do, you want to turn on the skillet, okay? You want it's big enough to be able to cook the beef and then move it to the side and then add stuff over here, okay? You can see back here we're getting ready to cook the pasta, okay? You want to take 4 tablespoons of butter. So I've already cut that out. And just stick it in there and let that melt, okay? You want to turn the stove on to medium. So happy to have my kitchen back, and I'm so happy that we are able to get back to videoing. So, okay, so anyway, cat, Karen, that's for you. Cat, kind of chilling. All right, so now what we're gonna do, you can see the butter is melted here, okay? So you really want to start this right when it's just finishes melting. You don't want to have the butter start to burn or cook or anything like that. We're gonna take our beef cubes that have been salt and peppered, okay? And we're going to put them in there, and we're going to brown them. As soon as they are brown, we're going to move them off to the side. You don't necessarily want to cook them all the way through. You don't want to do it well done or anything right now because they're going to stay in the pan, okay? So we are going to put them in here, and we're going to brown. This will take just a few minutes to brown all the way around, okay? So we'll let that brown, and then when we're done with that, we'll push them to the side, and we'll do the next step. While we're waiting for that to brown, wonder what we should do. What should we do? I know! We'll drink more Pinot Grigio. That's right. So we're waiting for it to brown. We're going to drink. You want to stir a little bit while you're doing this, primarily just to make sure you're turning them over, because you want to get basically brown on all sides. It doesn't have to be burnt. It doesn't have to be dark brown. Just brown on all sides, because again, you're going to leave them in here while you cook the rest of the stroganoff, which is not just the beef, but it's the sauce that goes with it. We're going to use mustard, or we're going to use beef broth. We're going to use some flour to thicken it a little bit, salt, pepper, and we're going to use, we're going to put the mushrooms in, of course the onions, which will cook next, in there. I will tell you that some recipes call for sour cream. And I do not use sour cream. I'll be honest. I don't like sour cream, and I don't like what it does to the taste of the stroganoff. Many people will say that is what the stroganoff is the sour cream, and you know what? That's probably correct. Actually, not probably. It is correct. You want to put the sour cream right before you serve it, but we're not going to do that. So, you know, again, the reason is I don't like that taste. But with that said. And again, I know, Melissa, you're going, more sour cream and add some cheese and all that other shit in there. But no, we're not going to do that. But with that said, we are going to, put the rest of the stuff in there, and it's still going to be a nice, flavorful dish. Okay. Again, the good thing about cooking is you can always add and subtract and change little bits of recipes here and there. We're back to the browning. All right. Anyway, so we're going to keep doing this until it is brown all the way over. You again want to do this over medium heat. And you can see it's just about, there's some pink spots, some red spots from the meat, that's fine. But it's just about getting ready for it's just about browned enough to push it over to the other side. And we want to put the liquid, make sure the liquid all goes to the other side here. So what you want to do is you want to move the meat over and let it continue cooking in the pan, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the shallots the green onion shallots, what have you, that we finely chopped. So we're going to put that in there, and we're going to let these cook for about 5 minutes, okay? Obviously, thank you to our butcher. This week, Hector helped us out at the butcher shop, so thank you, Hector. All right, so now that it's been cooking 5 minutes, we're going to move all the onions over there, okay? Let them sit over there. Move the sauce over. The onions are going to come back over sometimes with the sauce, but that's okay. Basically, I'm going to pour the broth in over top of that, okay? And we want to use basically just 1 can, 10.5, 12-ounce can, something like that of beef broth. Put that over there. And then we're going to take the flour, and we're going to slowly cut the flour in. What that means is we're going to put a little bit and stir. Don't let it get real clumpy, okay? And you're doing this to thicken the sauce, okay? So we're just going to cut the flour in, okay? And then once we cut the flour in on the other side, we're going to actually stir it all back together, okay? You see it does get clumpy. It's okay. But you want to try and break up the clumps. And you want to then bring to a boil, okay? Trying to keep the meat on the one side until it gets to a boil. Always stirring, though. Just keep stirring. Just keep stirring.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. What do? We swim, swim.
Dory, no singing.
Dory. I love to swim. And
Dory.
When you want to swim, you want
See,
to
I'm going to get stuck now with that song. Now it's in my head.
Sorry.
And if you see the little clumps of flour there, put them against the side, smash it, break it up. Again, you want to try and make it as clumpless as possible. Yes, clumpless is a word. Keep stirring. Okay. We're actually going to turn this up now. Okay. And for just a moment, we're going to turn it up, get some real high heat going on it to get it rolling. Okay. Once that rolls, we're going to put some mustard in it, put the mushrooms in it, and then we'll go from there. So you can see it's starting to boil now. Again, 1 6-ounce jar of mushrooms or canned mushrooms, drain them, and then put them in there. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to take some yellow mustard, okay? About a teaspoon. I shake it up because we don't use a lot of mustard, so it sometimes separates, but about a teaspoon. So I'm just going to spritz a little bit in there. It's probably a teaspoon. Maybe a little more. Who cares? I've been drinking. Stir it all up, okay? Keep it on the high heat for just a moment till you get to that boiling point again. All right. Stir it completely up, but get it all nice and mixed together. The mustard, and this is where you'll get the rest of that flour unclumping as well, because you're going to mix the flour up. You're going to get the onions cooking, all that other fun stuff, okay? So we're going to put that all in there. And now the fun part, one last fun part, okay? So we're going to turn it down. We're actually going to cover it, okay? And we're going to turn it down so it can simmer, okay? But while we're doing that, we're going to grab some more Pinot Grigio. And yes, to drink, but we're going to put about 1/3 of a cup in here as well. You're doing it for the taste. All right, let's put 1/3 of a cup. Let's take a look here. Yeah, I know. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour that in right on top of that. I'm going to stir it up, and then I'm going to let it simmer. Okay. It should only have to simmer for a little bit, but you want to let it simmer until the meat itself is tender. So it could take a few minutes. It could take 5 minutes. It could take 10 minutes. It could take an hour. It really depends on the size of the meat cubes or strips or however you do it. So I'm going to let this go until the meat is tender. Okay. Show you what it looks like. You can see it's got a nice cream to it. Okay. And it will darken also as you cook it a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. So anyway, we're going to stir that up, and then we're going to, like I said, we have it simmering. Cover it up, let it do its thing. Like I said, 5, 10, 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever it takes to really get that meat tender. You don't want it to be overdone. You don't want it to be rubbery, but tender. So what I suggest is checking it probably after about 10 minutes and seeing how it is. And then every 10, 15 minutes after that till it's where you like it. Okay? And that's the big thing, is how you like it. So we'll let that go. And we will come right back and show you what it looks like when it's all done. We'll taste it. We'll drink some Pinot Grigio while it's cooking, and we'll go from there and have a great date night. So we'll be right back. All right, so it's been cooking. You know, I said it takes 10, 15 minutes. This actually took a little bit longer because you saw the size of the cube that I used. It took about 20 minutes for the beef to become more tender, and while it was simmering. So about 20 minutes extra. So my bad, a little longer than I expected, but that's what cooking is all about. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and try it, see what it's like. And we're going to scoop out some pasta here. I'm going to scoop out some of the meat and put it over top of it. All right, so you can see, actually that's what it looks like. So you can see that there's the pot. I'm using a straining spoon because the sauce is still there, which you want to do that. But you can take some of the sauce and you want to put it over top of it. Actually, what I really liked, I really think the sauce is the best part of it. But some people may not like it. They really like more of just the meat and the mushrooms and whatnot. So I'm going to put it over top. Okay. All right. Then a little bit of salt and pepper and put it on top of it. So we're going to just a quick grind of the salt and pepper. Okay, just like that. And now, hi. Okay. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to try it. Worst case scenario, like I always say, is you call DoorDash. But I'm telling you, this is going to be a great dish. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, it didn't take that long. It took a little longer because the beef was a little bit thicker than... if you want to do it thinner strips, it'll take less time to tender. And it really also, like I said, it really has to do with your taste as well. So tender to you may be a little bit different than tender to me. So, And of course, you probably should wash it down with a good, I don't know, a good Pinot Grigio will always make it kind of wash the dinner down a little better. Pinot Grigio. All right, so that's it. That's how you make it. That's the dinner. That's the date night dinner. So I'm going to go ahead, put this on the plate, get it ready for my wife, who is upstairs with the boys, put them to bed, as always. And when she comes down, she'll have a nice dinner waiting for us. So thank you all for watching. We thank you all for bearing with us the last 3 weeks. And we're glad that we're back. We're excited to be back. And next week, an all-new episode, as always. And a very special episode because next week is our 1-year anniversary of Cooking with Michael. So I want to thank you all who have been watching us from last year. But we're 1 year into it, and we're so excited. So a great show for next week. So thank you all, as always, for watching. Thank you very much for subscribing, liking, sharing. Please always do that. Like, subscribe, share, and show the people that haven't seen us yet. Show us what we can do. So thank you again for watching. We look forward to next week's episode. Next Saturday night, 8 p.m., Cooking with Michael. Have a great night, everyone. Good night.